Hello everyone, I am back with yet another update video. It's been roughly half a year since my last upload, so I figured it was about time I did another one of these. In case you're wondering why this video has number 4 in its title while the previous one had 2, that's because the third one took the form of an article over on my gaming blog. It went up on the Halloween day and was a fairly meaty episode. There was a lot to talk about there, so if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you check it out. This time around though, not quite the same story. As a matter of fact, not much has really happened in the last 3 months. I haven't got any new games, I don't have many exciting news to share, I've only uploaded 3 new articles since Halloween. The only thing I can highlight here is that I got really sick in December, with 2 different things no less, which culminated in me getting a terrible fever on the New Year's Day. Because 2020 just couldn't have ended peacefully, you see. And that's pretty much what I wanted to discuss in this video, my personal summary of 2020. I'm conflicted on how I feel about this year. It was absolutely horrible for me as far as my health is concerned. I've fallen ill with a plethora of diseases throughout it, and I've never had to take as many pills in my life as I have in 2020, it's ridiculous. But at the same time, oddly enough, this year was pretty good for the business side of things for me. With all of the problems I had going on in the background, I could have very easily stopped making content altogether, but instead I turned to writing and put a ton of stuff out. Launching my gaming blog has done wonders for me. In just 7 months, I've uploaded 16 original articles to it. A couple of them carried over from previous years, but even then, that's a damn impressive result. For comparison, in the entirety of 2019, I've only uploaded 8 videos. The difference is substantial. Writing has breathed new life into my online presence, and for that reason alone, I can't really label 2020 as irredeemably terrible. As a content creator, this year has been better for me than any other. So much so, in fact, that I actually finally started making money off my work on Patreon. If any of my patrons are watching this, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot, seriously, thank you. It was a really nice thing to see happen among all of the bullshit I had to deal with in 2020. What was also nice was that I played a lot of really good games. I'm not going to spend too much time on this as I've already talked about all that in my Games I Played in 2020 article, so if you want to know more about that, I invite you to read it over on my blog. But yeah, after how underwhelming my 2019 was, I've had a lot more fun with video games this year. Discovered a bunch of really cool Wii games this time around, which was great. I love this system, it just keeps on giving. And once again, thanks to my blog, I was also able to cover a lot more of what I'd played than usual as well. Out of the 38 games that I dabbled in 2020, I've talked about 15. That's a lot! That's an unprecedented result. So that's what I mean by the business side of things. As a person, 2020 was a year of hell for me, but for my content making endeavors, it was actually pretty good. Now, I know I keep banging on and on about my gaming blog. I understand this is not why you subscribe to this channel, you're here to watch my videos, not listen to me promote reading of all things. But I really can't emphasize just how important it is to me. It hasn't replaced YouTube for me, there are very legitimate reasons for my hiatus. I am simply unable to make videos at the moment. But because I can't tend to my channel right now, I'm focusing on writing instead. And thanks to how much easier it is for me to write about my experiences as opposed to talking about them, I was able to finally cover some of the games and topics I previously simply couldn't for one reason or another. For instance, one of my most successful articles so far, my guide on how to get into Fatal Frame, has been all but shelved when I originally started it in 2019, because it turned out to be simply way too big in the end, and I saw no way of actually completing a video project that long back then. But thanks to my blog, I was able to return to that script, properly finalize it, and upload it as an article. I didn't think I'd ever get to actually publish it, but here we are. In a similar boat, conceptually, was one of my latest articles, Bayonetta 2 800 Hours In. I've been meaning to cover that game for years, but I knew I would have to be extremely thorough with how I approached that subject, and the video would be a struggle to make. But when I realized there was no pressure to actually make a video, I felt a lot more comfortable with finally tackling the topic. With writing, I don't have to dread recording something for hours on end, and I don't need to edit any footage either. I can just sit down and write, and because of that, I was able to talk about the games I would normally just give up on the very idea of covering. In 2020, I finally made another entry in my revisiting series, which started in 2018 and didn't go anywhere for a long time. I put not one, but two Indie Mayflies episodes up as well. One was a video, the other an article. And lastly, I've also published a new, long overdue episode of my game shelf after a year and a half of just not feeling like doing it. It felt incredible to finally be able to do what I wanted with my content without any additional pressure, and it was exactly what I needed this year. When I started this blog, I wasn't sure how long it would last, but now, almost 8 months in, I'm pretty confident in saying it's staying. It allows me to do what I'd normally struggle with on YouTube with relative ease, and when I eventually return to video making, I am sure this experience will come in very handy. For now, I am not ready to make my comeback just yet, but I'm still active, I'm still making content, and I couldn't be happy with that. Again, I could have spent this entire year doing nothing, but thankfully, that wasn't the case. And that's about all there is there for the time being. I survived the year of hell, I'm doing more or less okay, and I'm hopeful about what's to come in 2021. I know one single digit changing doesn't mean things are gonna magically get any better, but as someone who saw the new year in with, I'm pretty sure, the worst fever of my conscious life, I think it can only go up from there. So, whoever's watching this, thanks for checking in on me. I hope you're doing well. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.